Collecting. Is it a hobby or an illness? That's what we're talking about today, guys. Your boy Hunter's here today. And we're talking about hobbies, collecting, and all these different things that us humans do, these odd things that somehow intrigue us and keep us busy throughout the day. I'm 26 years old. I've been on this earth for a quarter of a century. And I've done my own fair share of collecting, buying, storing, hoarding, and some of the people around me have done it as well, including my father to a certain extent. And today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about my experience doing so, collecting and being a hobbyist in different kind of categories of life, I guess you should say, like different types of things, and pretty much decide at the end of the video, is this all a hobby, or do we need mental help? You know what I mean? Let's see. Let's get into it. It's supposed to be a lighthearted thing, by the way. So, if you actually feel like you need mental help, probably exit out the video now and go call your local doctor, please. I'm not certified. Not a certified doctor. Anyways, all right. So, I can think of a couple of hobbies that I've been in throughout my life. Just for a little background. Currently, your boy has really recently dived into the whole watch world. So I've been really into watches, luxury watches, collectible watches, stuff like that. The first piece that got me started, frankly, was this one, the Oyster. Oh my God! So you know I'm new. The Moon Swatch collaboration with Swatch and Omega Mars edition. Very nice watch, by the way. Very nice. It got me thinking, because these past couple of days I've literally just been walking around the city, just going to different watch boutiques and just bothering the hell out of them, because I'm not actually buying anything, right? I'm the biggest window shopper there is. Just bothering them and talking to them about watches. Because this hobby's a lot different than my other ones. And what I'll do is I'll run you through my hobbies throughout my life very quickly, and then I'll kind of end up where I'm at today and guess my thoughts on everything. Because, I don't know, as usual I have a lot of thoughts and I like to talk, so let's get into it. So since a very young age, and I think this may have come from my dad's interest in technology, I've been very much into computers. Technology generally. He used to own a phone store down in 3rd Avenue, the Bronx, and a couple more actually around New York. For example, and this is how you know, when the iPhone first came out, like the iPhone, not even the 2G, I remember that, the first iPhone, so the iPhone before the 2G, I remember I had one. Like, literally, I got one because someone had sold it to him in his phone store, and he said, why not? Like, let's see, I guess, what Hunter does with it. I had a little Dora sticker on the back of it, too, which I also remember. But I've never been a stranger to computers and technology is the point. So I think once I got to the age where I was able to kind of not only help out in the store a little bit, mind you, this is still when I was very young anyways, but also just kind of play computer games, that's what I did. So your boy's been a big gamer for a while, and I should say games in general, Halo, Call of Duty, the classics, Left 4 Dead, and now, instead of playing all these games on Xbox, I play them all on Steam, right? However, I'm not that much of a big gamer anymore. And I'd almost argue that gaming wasn't as much of an addiction as or a hobby as, if you're comparing it to any other kid, frankly. But I do still play games to this day when I have the time. So I guess in that way I would consider myself a little bit of a hobbyist in terms of gaming. Anyways, less so gaming, but more so on the next one, and that's sneakers. 2012, your boy buys his first pair of Jordan 7s, the Cardinals. Maybe I'll flash a picture up here if I get the chance to. It's pretty much this shoe, but in a white colorway. But pretty much got into sneakers in 2012, and then the big thing back then was obviously getting your hands on the most expensive sneakers, but also kind of flipping them, reselling them. That was a whole big debate, and even in the watch industry today that I'm kind of getting into, again, gray markets, flippers, people like that. Also a very, very touchy subject for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of people don't really care. It's a whole big thing. But I for as long as I can remember, I've been into sneakers and really collecting them and learning about the history behind them. I think that's what really interests me, especially about sneakers. A lot of sneakers have their own types of history behind them. like why they were made, where the parts come from, etc. And even just like when you purchase sneakers yourself, like there's a certain piece of history that comes along with when you're going to the store and you're experiencing and you're going through the buying experience. Now with sneakers, the buying experience is you walk up to the counter and you buy it usually. But on certain releases, you may have to wait in line for who knows how long. I've never waited in line longer than a couple hours, but even then, it's always been a good time because you're speaking with fellow sneakerheads about the hobby, and it's like this kind of camaraderie you get when you're literally waiting in line to buy this hopefully personally valuable sneaker that you want. But yeah, so like for as long as I can remember, sneaker industry has been pretty lucrative in terms of like resale, and I was big into that definitely. I mean, like frankly, like I worked at like a bagel store like a long time ago, but after that, I really hadn't worked like a retail job in such a long time because I was just making money buying and selling sneakers on eBay. They got me to learn eBay. They got me to learn a whole bunch of things. But I think that's the cool thing about some of these hobbies, especially sneakers for me. There was all these conventions you could go to. You could meet people there. You can talk to them about sneakers. And sneakers also had a huge amount of overlap with clothing, with rap, with music generally. So pretty much getting into sneakers really opened my horizons and I guess my world to just different things. A different community of people. And I think that's one thing that you'll notice throughout this video. I don't think it's going to be that long, anyways. Is that I'm really obsessed with passion. I love passion. I have passion myself, but I love seeing people with their own passion, and then just being inquisitive on it. I think it's so easy in this world to be caught up by so many random things hitting you all at once. So whenever I see someone that really, really cares about what they're doing and is just like honed in on it, it's just so interesting to me. I don't know why it is. But anyways, so yeah, that was sneakers. I'm not too much into sneakers anymore. As you can see, I still have some. I have a couple in my closet as well. I used to have like almost, I gotta say, you used to have up to 50 at least sneakers. That included when I was buying and selling them. So, some of them were for selling, some of them were for me keeping. But I think the main kind of takeaway here is that like anything I've ever gotten into, I have always kind of had this like, there's always lasting effects, right? So the gaming, I still game today. The sneakers, I still have some certain sneakers today, and I still kind of know what's what if I'm walking into a sneaker store, if I can, and I can still hold up a conversation with people, right? I'm not completely like kind of just, like you can never quit any of these hobbies, to be clear. You can only have like lasting effects. The next thing, which I think I have over here, oh yeah, God, crypto. All right, so for those of you guys already probably know this, I'm big into crypto, especially right now. As you can see, I have this little ETH logo right here. Boop, little ETH pillow. Your boy currently works at a crypto-based company, Arbitrum, Off-Chain Labs, and I don't even know why I started with that. What I should start with is I got into crypto in 2017 as a speculator, buying, selling, trading all these random little cryptos, and I remember like I would say the crypto community is very interesting. It's very different. So I think what really attracted me to crypto was the fact that you have a tie between economics and technology. And in my head, I've always been a money person. I've always been about like, I don't want to say greedy, even though I'm sure I'm kind of greedy. I've always been interested in making more money. That's in my mind. That's what I like doing. I like making money. There's some sort of like stimulus I get from it. Whenever you make that quick buck, when you flip something, when you hit the little cha-ching from the eBay thing, when you buy a coin for low and sell it for high, it just feels good. I don't know what else to say about that. But then the technology side, which for more background, I went to school for mechanical engineering. So I have this kind of technical element in the back of my mind where I just like learning about things. I think that's the main thing. I'm not an engineer by practice, obviously, as I just told you. I work at a crypto company now. But I do think analytically, I would say, and that's what really got me into crypto. Because you have a mix of both, which I love, by the way. So I got in 2017. Didn't really go anywhere serious into it until, honestly, like 2 or 3 years prior to today. So got in 2017, probably got out like at the end of the bull market because my backs were just bleeding dry. And then I got back in probably like right when I was about to quit college. And dude, like it's been a wild ride. I met so many people, especially if you don't know, I've actually made a YouTube channel completely dedicated to crypto. I haven't been updating it as much as I should have been recently, only because I've been so busy at work. But I'm sure I'll be updating it soon. I've been mostly updating this channel, frankly, because I just want to talk about everything else currently. But yeah, so like needless to say, like I'm very deep in crypto, and I think it's such an interesting industry, man. Like I think what I love the most about it though is obviously you have different sectors of it. You can focus on different things. It's such a vast industry, to be honest. I just love the opportunity, honestly, that the space brings. When I mean opportunity, I truly mean just like career wise, life wise, monetarily. Like you can do so many things in crypto because the industry is so young, and there really is no proven leaders, in my opinion. I mean, like you have the Vitaliks of the world, you have some of the founders of these projects, but that's it. Like even some of those guys are like shady, right? Not Vitalik, but you know what I mean. So I figure if there's anywhere where I can make a name for myself, which I mean, let's be honest, dude. Like, I don't know if I'm trying to make a name for myself necessarily, but it would be nice to have that possibility. I think it's gonna be crypto because I feel like I have the most opportunity in this field. I literally grew up with it, frankly, and I'll be honest, like everything else is just so saturated, especially sneakers. That was part of the issue with sneakers, that the industry got so saturated at one point that it just didn't make any sense anymore. From an economic standpoint too, right? Because yeah, I think that's the other thing. I feel like as long as I'm not like completely losing money by one of these hobbies, I'm cool with it. And thank God for that. Like we're not out here trying to waste money. I think that's the key here. Waste money, I guess, is all in the eye of the beholder. But you know what I mean. So I'm still in the crypto today. But as of literally this day right now, I'm not completely focused on it. Not completely. And that is because of watches. So for a little background, as let's say for example of why I kind of made this little shift. Not really a shift, but kind of shifted my focus, I guess you should say. I'm a person that gets very and this is going to kind of stem to like the last point, but I'm a person that gets very addicted to things, and I know this. I feel like it runs in my bloodline. So, for example, crypto. When I had the opportunity to work in this space after I made this YouTube channel, I was like, "Yo, this is amazing." Mind you, I'm into crypto too. Like I invest in it, I research it, I do all that stuff. So my entire day pretty much became crypto. For almost 2 years now, my entire day has been almost crypto. All of my days have been filled with crypto. Obviously, at some point, your boy's gonna burn out. It's just gonna happen. So, when I say more than a burnout, I would say it's more so just like I kind of just want to try something different. And I'm glad I'm the kind of person where I can just like completely make a 180, do something different, and then probably just go back. Because already in my head, I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to, fully focus back on crypto and do my things again. But I'm giving myself time to chill. But for the time being, I figure, what else can I get into? That's interesting. And funny enough, I don't know if it was like, this might have been like, post my dad passing and me kind of finding a bunch of his watches. Not that he did anything crazy, but I just always knew that he liked big watches. And then my buddy Luke, who out of nowhere just offered to sell me this moon swatch over here. I kind of just dove into the industry, man, and it's been so interesting since. It's so funny. Like in this world, there are so many like different like micro hobbies that exist. You would never know. And the watch world is so interesting, and I'm very grateful that I'm getting into it now, versus like a year, 2 years ago, because COVID really made all the prices bump up. And when I say watches, by the way, I'm talking luxury watches. So in this case, I'm talking about like. This watch was about $200, so like this one wasn't that expensive, relatively. But for example, I've really been eyeing Rolexes, because Rolex obviously is like the one watch. I mean, even if you're not into watches, you know what a Rolex is, right? So I kind of did my research there because I'm like, okay, I've always heard of Rolexes, but what actually are they? And I found out so many cool and interesting things. And something to me just boggled my mind. Like the fact that you realize you cannot walk into a Rolex store right now and buy a Rolex. You literally need to like, in a way, kind of prove yourself to the authorized dealer in the store, when I say prove yourself, I mean like kind of make a relationship with them to the point where they feel comfortable selling you a watch. And part of that is because there's so many flippers, and obviously they don't want to be selling directly to flippers, so they kind of want to vet people. And I think part of that too is just making sure that the right people are wearing the watches, right? Who wants some sort of bozo that like me wearing a Rolex? Doesn't make any sense, right? Anyways, not saying I'm going to be out here buying a bunch of Rolexes, but it's such an interesting kind of industry that I'm getting into. But the first I would say watch that I really actually bought in, that's like I would say relatively high value is this one. This is a Doxa Sub 200. This is a diver's watch. It was roughly around $1,000, and I got it from the Watches of Switzerland in the New York City. Beautiful looking watch, though, eh? What do you think? Oh, hold on. There we go. Nice little zoom. There we go. There you go. But yeah, so the one thing with this how do you say, with this hobby, with the watch hobby, is that I'm noticing, and this depends on the kind of watch that you collect, you can spend a lot of money. And that's one thing I'm being cognizant of here. And I think I like it. I think this is why I like this hobby a lot, and why I'm really approaching it in a different way than I used to. My different hobbies. You can't just go around and talk to people about watches. Conventions are really not that often from what I've seen. And frankly, while there are people who own watches that you can just speak to, like it's not a kind of thing where you can just like spot someone on the street and say, "Oh shit, I love your Rolex." Like you don't want to do that. Like you can do that with sneakers because it's obvious, right? You can see what people are wearing. With watches, it's a little bit more subdued. God forbid someone's wearing like a $20,000 Rolex. You point it out. A lot of people are going to feel uncomfortable. So it's a different industry that I'm exploring now. And I'm just interested, man. I don't know what it is, man. Different things interest me. I'm sure one day I'll be interested in something else. I hope I never get into cars because that's... I can't afford to get into cars anyways. Or I can barely afford to be into watches, to be honest. But I don't know. It's interesting. I'm wasting time. But anyways, okay. Conclusion. What is this? Am I addicted? Is this a hobby? Do I need mental help? Does someone need to call a doctor for me? It's a good question. It's a very good question. I don't know. I think... this is what I think. So, I was talking to my fiance about this the other day. Because I told her I was going to make this video. And she was like... I think she said something along the lines of, if you feel like it takes away from your everyday time, then, like, it may not be... It may be, like, a detriment. Which... I'm not sure if I agree with that. I feel like, to me, it's more so what makes you happy, right? At the end of the day, if getting into these hobbies and collecting these different things makes you happy, to me, that's the most important thing. Because if it doesn't do that, then why are you doing it, right? Now, obviously, there's an if to that. If you're spending more money than you can afford to make, if you're spending more money than you can afford to lose, or if you're losing tons of money by buying into these things, you feel like you can't liquidate if you needed to, then I would start to definitely make the argument, hey, maybe it's not the best thing to do. Maybe see a doctor. But there's this other guy one day on YouTube who said like he had a watch. Whenever he has watches, and he noticed that when he dropped a watch one day, and he picked it back up, even though there was nothing wrong with it, he looked at it and it was like, yo. He just considers it the dropped watch, and he can never look at it the same again. So he sold it. And I'm like, that doesn't sound too healthy. So, I don't know. And there's different ways you can take it. If you ask me, I do think that collecting, being a hobbyist, all that stuff is fine. I think it's part of our human nature to be interested in certain things and to believe in certain things. I'm not talking about religion here, but I feel like there's a little bit of an overlap. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. You just have to you have to gauge yourself. If you're spending all your time doing it, like for example, if I'm spending 24 hours of my day focusing on crypto and I'm not talking to my wife, I don't know wife yet, fiance, almost wife, and I'm not talking to my fiance, my brother, my mother, my family, if I'm not communicating with people anymore, that's when it becomes a little bit unhealthy. Yeah, and at that point you check yourself, and you just got to take it step by step. But let me know what you guys think down below. Are your hobbies that you're into, are they hobbies, or are they just illnesses masking themselves as hobbies or collecting? Anyways, thanks for watching this extremely long video, I'm sure. I'll catch you guys on the next one, alright? Peace out.